What's up, Wolfpack Nostalgia? Dave here with a review of Joey Badass's fourth album, Lonely at the Top. This is Joey's first album in 3 years since his album 2000 came out, which of course was the follow-up, the sequel project to his acclaimed debut mixtape 1999 from over a decade ago at this point. I've seen Joey Badass live. Gosh, I should have counted. I think it's 5-6 times at this point, whether it was as an opener, as a headliner, part of Beast Coast, etc. I'm a massive Joey fan. I've been a fan since like 2012, right? I remember when he first popped up on Mac Miller's Macadelic mixtape on the song America when he was like 16 years old. You know, now he's like 30. He's been in our lives for fucking ages at this point, right? And he's still pretty young. I'm a big fan. I think he's really great. And Joey has been in the news more so than he normally is, honestly, recently, this year, right? He kind of ignited a brief but entertaining West Coast rap beef, where he ended up sparring with various Top Dog Entertainment members, chief among them, of course, recent signee, XXL freshman Ray Vaughn. They had quite the back and forth there. I did think Ray Vaughn naming a diss track Ho Era as a reference to Joey Badass's Collective Pro Era was pretty funny. Joey even gets called out by YG on his song Hollywood. Ty Dolla $ign, someone who's featured on this new Joey album, even mentioned in an interview that Joey deserved this, even though, of course, him and Joey are still cool and friends and working together and all that. Was it like necessary? Not necessarily, but like Joey, I give him credit for wanting to stand up for New York, for East Coast hip hop after all the hype around the West Coast sound following Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us and the success of GNX and all of that, right? I give Joey credit, even if you maybe don't want to bark up the tree that Kendrick is at the top of, right? Nonetheless, he seemed to come out of this largely unscathed, I guess. On the other side of the coin, though, Joey delayed this album several times, openly calling out label beef he has with Columbia Records, which is kind of strange to me, right? Because it's not like Joey has ever been like a super commercial rapper, right? Obviously, he's had some songs that have kind of broken out, you know, like a Devastated, like a Temptation, right? But for the most part, that's not the kind of music he makes, not the kind of artist he is. I don't understand like the purpose of like label meddling with him, right? He's successful. He's, you know, makes money. He's great. Has a great touring business, right? Like why? He's an actor, right? He's got a brand. Why mess with Joey? Like he's got his career in order. It's a weird situation. Nonetheless, we finally got the album. Joey Badass's fourth album, Lonely at the Top, is largely okay. I think this is not the most interesting Joey album. I think conceptually, vision-wise, it probably doesn't wow you at any turn. Nothing's really bad or poorly executed on this album either. It's just more solid Joey music, and if you're a fan of Badmon, you'd probably like some of this, like I do. But this is an album that doesn't have the very easy to grasp concept of something like All American Badass. It doesn't have the nostalgia leaning of 2000. It doesn't have the high-end bangers of Before the Money. It's just not really on the level of those records. To me, clearly the highlight is Superfly, which is a great vibe shift for Joey with this very active synth line, this energetic flow, propulsive track. I think this is a great entry into his track list. That's this clear highlight from this project. And he had that advanced single, Dark Aura, the drum, the bass guitar line, kind of this like swirling beat. I think Joey's like, he's fine on this, right? Like the second verse, the delivery is a bit more energetic. The beat, though, to me is like a little inert, given like the energy Joey's trying to lay down the track here. So like it's okay. I think Swank White's pretty fun with West Side Gun. It's really just kind of like a typical gun track more than anything else. You know, with Superfly, you also have that Bree Steves feature, and I really enjoy her like understated delivery on the hook. I think it really brings the song together. Joey overall, I didn't think just brings it on this track, really rides that beat. It's a fun track. Definitely the one I've been going back to the most. I'm not sure if Joey could have made a song like that before, too. It kind of speaks to, I think, his growth and experience. High Roller features ASAP Ferg. Of course, when I saw Joey perform with Beast Coast in 2019, they brought out ASAP Ferg as a special guest in New York City, and that was amazing. And then right as they brought out Ferg and he does Plain Jane, the concert gets concluded because of an impending thunderstorm, because this was an outdoor venue. I still have pain about what could have been and where that night would have went. Nonetheless, Ferg, cool that he's here. Not what you expect from Ferg, though. It's more of like a Jamaican patois type of delivery. Wasn't really expecting that from Fergie Ferg here. I think the airy, chorus singing from the other feature, Kel's Too Busy, I think that's just okay. But I think more than anything, I'm just kind of intrigued by what Ferg did on the track more than anything else. Ready to Love, this is the Ty Dolla $ign feature, Hit Make a Beat, a sex jam for sure. Not the energy I usually go for from Joey, to be honest. I think his flow, though, is really nice on these snares. More of like a melodic delivery, and that's definitely something he's also improved on over the years with songs like Temptation and, Love Is Only a Feeling, things like that. So this is kind of in that mold, even if I don't think it reaches the level of those tracks. Brooklyn's Finest, of course, Jay-Z reference here. New York Posse cut in a sense. Rome Street's probably the most notable new face there. Of course, Pro Era. Collaborator CJ Fly is here on this, which is fun. Beat kind of understated, though, which is weird for a Posse cut. It's really just drums. I think CJ is probably the most intriguing of all the features. Please brings it energy wise. Underwater, this is a sung track, higher pitch, definitely different. Don't really love that too much until it switches into a more familiar delivery. I think that singing is not the most effective stuff. 3 Feet Away, you have more of this like middle register again, better beats. I like the bass drum here. Speeding Through the Rain, I like the doubled vocals effect he was giving you. Still, featuring Absol and Rhapsody, who are both actually opening up for Joey on his upcoming tour, which I'm planning to attend. The song's solid, I think the beat's subtle yet menacing. I like the way the snares come in. I wish Rhapsody had more to do on the track overall, given how great of a rapper she is, how great her bars are. And then lastly, you have Lonely at the Top, which is a classic, like jazzy, dusty type of Joey track. Drums are great. The flow is tight. Joey sounds great, very pensive, very wise in what he's trying to get across, speaking to his maturity and his experience. I really like that track. Great closer. So yeah, Only the Top, solid Joey record. Don't know how much I'm going to revisit too much of this apart from Superfly. Kind of how I felt about 2099 in greater respect, where it's like, man, like bangers from Joey, whether they're just from him, whether they're from him as part of Beast Coast, whatever it might be. That's like pinnacle, like New York rap of the last, 15 years at this point. That shit will live on. That's why he can continue to tour as successfully as he does. That's why I will continue to go to his shows, just to hear those songs live again. When he plays Christ Conscious live, man, does that shit go. When he plays Survival Tactics at the end of a show, actually, he plays Survival Tactics at the beginning of a show. When he plays, stuff at the end, like he plays like Devastated and stuff, and you're jumping around, you realize you're jumping around with like kids who were like 5 years old when Joey premiered. It's like, wow, this is a guy who's like actually transcended multiple generations of rap fans, and he's only 30 years old. It's pretty cool. So yeah, I remain a big fan of his, even if I think this album is just okay. Let me know though, what do you think of Lonely at the Top? And for more rap reviews, more music reviews, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.